All right, young scholars, apologies for my tardiness. My MGS 3100 Operations Management course ran a little late. I want to point out before anything else that thus far, if you do not have a grade for your discussion post, that is because I'm looking for two strong posts. One strong initial post, one strong response. So for example, I'm still seeing a lot of these, what I do not consider to be strong posts that do not add anything to the conversation. So let me see if I can find an example here. So for example, hey, Jillian, I like the way you responded in the examples you used. Great post this week, definitely worth the read. Don't bother posting that. It's not helpful. It doesn't add to the conversation. I'm not asking you to do 5 random responses like Kane Online requires. So just go ahead and add a strong response, such as the example here for Simona. You want to have a strong initial post, such as Effendi's there. So again, if you do not currently have, this is as of, let's say, 4 o'clock today. If you do not currently have a grade for your discussion, that is most likely the reason why. So this week, just like every week, you have a discussion post, a case study, and a quiz to complete. You should always complete your quiz first because it's just 20 random questions, 10 true or false, 10 multiple choice taken from concepts within the textbook. So Unit 2 discussion question asks you, what is logistics? Provide a definition of logistics and a rationale for why it is important in private and public organizations. So if you had like an operations management course or intro to supply chain management, you probably know the exact definition of logistics. You're more than welcome to provide it. However, on the course blog, I've given you some suggestions here on how to answer it. So you can use the different terms related to logistics, such as logistics management, military logistics, etc., on pages 44 and 45 to help you formulate your own definition. And then you want to support that argument of why it's important. So you might want to use the section called Logistics in the Economy that starts on page 64 all the way through the section called Spatial Relationships on page 76, as the entire process of logistics influences a firm or company's financial well-being. Then you also have your weekly case study. So the Senco Electronics Company case study is visible on page 81. You go ahead and you read through and you'll answer these 4 questions. If you were Skip Grenoble, which alternative would you advise Jim Berline to implement? What criteria would you use to arrive at your decision? At what level of demand in pounds per year would 2 alternatives be equal? See Appendix 3A. Graphically represent these 2 alternatives and their trade-off point. Again, see Appendix 3A. Which alternative would you recommend be in pace to accommodate future demand growth, etc.? And again, on the course blog, I have recommendations here available for you. So when answering question 1, you might want to consider transportation, storage, packaging, materials handling, inventory control, order fulfillment, and facility location sections referenced on pages 59 through 62. For question 2, I suggested that if you've used GoalSeek before in Excel, you might be able to come up with your answer based on the formula at the bottom of page 83. For question number 3, you're going to use the table on page 84 as your guide. It's best to create that in a Word or similar application. Since this is for your case study, you're more than likely going to be doing that anyway. And then for question 4, you want to use your answers from question 2 and 3 to determine which alternative is better. But then you want to support your argument. You could utilize the sections on order cycle, substitutability, inventory effect, transportation effect, dollar value, density, susceptibility to damage, and special handling requirements on pages 70 to 75. And as always within the modules, you're going to have resources added, which are simply the additional PowerPoints for the chapters. If you look through the video from last week, all I'm going to do here is add some additional comments that touch upon or add on that specific nature. So since you're asked to formulate a definition for logistics, I thought I'd help you out with that. So logistics is the process where products or services are delivered to the customer. This may include an information flow, material handling, production, packaging, inventory, transportation, warehousing, and security. But to avoid potential distribution issues, companies may partner with other companies using third-party logistics, determining what partner is easiest and cheapest to work with. For example, a company may use UPS for its shipments if they're given a discount for bulk type of shipments. In the same way, companies may outsource certain aspects of their business in order to reduce costs, which is often done in production. The issue with partnering with other companies and or outsourcing is you're often locked into a certain cost due to a contract, maybe 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, etc. As a result, companies may choose to collaborate together instead for a mutual benefit relationship. Generally, collaborative companies have similar goals. The common types of collabs are strategic, tactical, and execution in nature. Companies will often collaborate to turn over inventory quicker, lower transportation and storage costs, and increase their visibility to consumers or customers. The more facilities or warehouses available, in theory, the easier it is to distribute products. Think of Walmart, for example. When deciding on when and where to create a new facility, many factors play a role. Size, cost, restrictions, environmental impacts, location, and the labor market. You have enough people there to employ to run it. The facility needs to be near customers and potential employees as a result. So companies will conduct a location cost volume analysis to determine if building in a specific location will result in a profit for their business. Often companies will use what is called the center of gravity method, which will put a facility in between two current facilities geared towards minimizing transportation costs. Again, you also want these as near as possible to potential customers and employees. However, the layout or how the facility is built also needs to be considered. Product layout is common for assembly lines, while process layout is common for hospitals. Hybrid layout is some kind of combination of both. You may also use fixed position layout, which involves building a huge product like a plane, or you might want to use cellular layout, which groups individuals and equipment together based on needs, or cells. specific sections. The layout of the facility must meet company needs and be adequately staffed. You don't want to have a specific building with nobody there to work or do anything for. So that is all I intended to cover. So again, make sure that by this evening you have completed all of your tasks for this week, your discussion post, your case study, your quiz. And since you should have all of your modules open and available to you, I am going to recommend that you go ahead and do your quizzes in bulk if you can, if you have time, since these are simply looking up the answers within your textbook. So there's 8 of each of these total. And as I mentioned, the quizzes are the lowest amount, only 20 points. So it might be helpful to go ahead and let's say you can do 2 a weekend. You might want to go through and do 2 and 3 this week, 4 and 5 next week, etc. As always, if there are any questions, feel free to reach out with me, and hopefully you're going and looking through these recordings after they complete and are posted.